Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we are back with another Cobra Kai Karate Kid franchise video. As you all obviously know and aware of, we finished the marathon yesterday with the Karate Kid 2010 remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. And today we're talking about our tier list of my favorite films in order, the series in order, the best villains in order, the best kid characters in order, the best adult characters from the Cobra Kai universe in order. The main protagonist of the three we have it from Daniel, Julie, and Drew. The best female love interest, and a couple other things I'll cover throughout, and I'll give you a bit of an insight of what to expect from the channel from Cobra Kai and Karate Kid over the next few days, weeks, and months into the build-up of season 5 of Cobra Kai. Also, my review of No Retreat, No Surrender drops today, which is a very similar film to Karate Kid. It deals with karate. And there's just a lot of similarities, but it takes massive inspiration from Bruce Lee and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be up later today. So be sure to check that out when it drops. Subscribe and like so you don't miss a video. All the reviews for all the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid films are on the channel, so be sure to check them out, as well as interviews from Cobra Kai and Karate Kid cast members. I'm working on more Cobra Kai, which are dropping soon, Karate Kid as well. And of course, like I said, I'd love to work on some No Retreat, No Surrender interviews. But we'll have to wait and see for that. Predictions are going alive on the channel, and my season 5 predictions will launch very soon too. I've touched on a few predictions, but I'm going to clarify what I want to see in particular in season 5. So we'll touch on that very soon. And also, comment anything else you want to see down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Give your thoughts down below, of course, so we can obviously compare. This obviously everyone's got their own opinion. Mine are going to be very controversial in some aspects, I think, and I'll obviously give my reasons why, and then you'll see in the video. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video and talk about the Karate Kid franchise. Let's go. So let's jump straight into this. And the first tier list I want to jump on is the movies. 5 Karate Kid movies: Karate Kid 1, 2, 3, the next Karate Kid, and Karate Kid 2010 remake slash reboot. So top 5, obviously. The worst, and when I say worst, I don't mean it's a horrible film. I actually enjoy every single one of these films. They're all fantastic in their own ways. But the fifth and at the bottom of this list is Karate Kid 3. It's, as I say in every video I've done with these, it's overhated and underappreciated. People do need to go and give it a rewatch. I think Silver plays a fantastic villain. His manipulation skills towards Daniel, how he works with Barnes the whole film, Kreese's story. People say it's a big issue, but I believe him disappearing at the start of the film and reappearing later makes complete sense. The only reason why this is bottom is because Ralph Macchio's acting is atrocious in this. His acting is over the top. Jessica's a very good character. Jessica Andrews, she's a brilliant character. But she wasn't a love interest per se, so she was okay in aspects. I love the whole Cobra Kai aspect, and if you want to know more what I think, go check out my review. But I just think, and it didn't have an iconic song. Every other Karate Kid for me has an iconic song, but this one just didn't. That is another reason. Music always plays. You have the traditional music, but they didn't have that specific song that stood out for me, per se. So that's my reasoning. It's at the bottom. That's probably where everyone else will put it. Fourth on the list is another film everyone expects to be low. It's the next Karate Kid, a fantastic film. Julie Pierce is a brilliant protagonist. The relationship with Mr. Miyagi is brilliant. Again, the music, 80s. I love 80s and 90s music, I should say, because this came out in 94. I love the music they use when Ned's walking down the hallway. That's one of my best songs from the Karate Kid. I can't remember the song; it's gone from my mind. It's moving on up. That's what it's called by M People. But yeah, this film had everything. And again, as I said, overhated, underappreciated. People need to rewatch this. And I'm looking forward to this universe. It's its own, it's within Daniel's universe, but it's its own entity in a way. I'd love to see the monks and stuff come into the Cobra Kai story at some point. But yep, that's my 4th spot. Here's where the controversial comes in. The top 3, people would expect this to be in a very specific order. And I'm going to put Karate Kid 1984 in 3rd, simply for this. People usually put this as their number 1 spot because it's the most well known. Yes, it's the most well known. It's the reason why people got into the franchise. Yes, It's full of awesomeness and brilliance. But I just think the other two films had more to them, more depth. Um, Absolutely love the origin story. I love the Cobras, love Johnny, love Kreese. But yeah, it just didn't have enough in it to be the first one. It's the most iconic, I will say. That's one of the most iconic 80s films ever. Does that make it the best? That's we've got to say sometimes. Got to separate iconic from best. Star Wars: A New Hope, and I will say this, is the most iconic Star Wars film in history. Came out in 1977. It is not the best Star Wars. It's arguably not one of the best. It's not even in the top five for me, I don't think. But that's a topic for another day. That's what it says. A New Hope, iconic because of what it did. And it revolutionized things for the sci-fi era. Does it make it the best? Simple as same as Karate Kid. Probably same as Rocky. Rocky 1 is obviously probably not the best. I'd probably say Rocky Balboa. Rocky 4. There's loads of Rocky films that are fantastic. Again, discussion for another time, but comparisons are there. And my top two, obviously, you can see is Karate Kid 2 and Karate Kid. You're asking which one would be the best. And it was quite tough because I love the Japanese and Chinese overhaul storylines of these two. Obviously, Dre moves to China in Karate Kid, and obviously Daniel and Miyagi go to Okinawa for the Karate Kid 2. I have to put Karate Kid 2 as number one and Karate Kid 2010 as number two, simply because of this. I love Glory of Love. It's an absolutely phenomenal song. I've never talked about the music per se, but You're the Best Around is a fantastic song, but Glory of Love trumps it by a lot. I love Joe Esposito's work. It's been on the channel, of course. But Glory of Love has such a beautiful tone to it, and the relationship between Kumiko and Daniel Miyagi, Chosen and Sato. I love all the characters, the world building, how they had the connection from the first and second film with Kreese and Johnny at the start. It was brilliant. Go check out the review for the full thoughts, but it's fantastic. And the reason why I believe that only just trumps the remake film is simply because there was no sequel. They they didn't leave much open for a sequel. They tied everything up. The whole Chinese background on the valley. Going to the Forbidden City. Going to see that snake lady, learning techniques. The kick is a million times better than the crane kick that Dre pulled off at the end. Mr. Han, Jackie Chan portrayed him phenomenally. I think he's on par with Miyagi. He only did one film. Again, this is going to be controversial. People might not like this. But a lot of people don't really respect the Karate Kid remake, but it's a very fantastic film. Dre grows as a character all the way through. His acting is pretty poor at the start and annoying again, just like Daniel in Karate Kid 3. But the whole film, because it's a 2 hour 20-minute film, it gets better and it pays off, and you forget about those moments. So they are my top five. Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid, next Karate Kid, and then Karate Kid 3. So let me know what you think about that down below, and we'll just jump straight into the TV series. This will be quite swift and quite obvious in my perspective, but I think there's always going to be two seasons that you can always flip. So in fourth place, I'm going to go with Cobra Kai season 2. And the simple fact is, there's only two iconic scenes in this that make it a good season. It's a very good overall season, but it's not a standout season. I love the episode with Johnny and his cronies, reuniting with the Cobras, the bar scene, and obviously seeing Tommy's uh, irony come into play. Put him in a body bag. He ends up in a body bag. I love that episode. The show must go on. I love the Queen song that played when he was being taken away. And obviously the fight scene in the school. There's a lot of good moments, but them two really stood out to me. But that is why it is at the bottom, because season 1, 3, and 4 had so many more standout moments. Granted, because they were further on the stories and introducing bigger characters, but and season 2, obviously, I love the Cruel Summer song at the end. Fantastic, one of the great songs in Karate Kid history. But yeah, season 2 is last, followed by season 1 in third, simply because it's the original series that brought us back to these characters. We got the All Valley tournament, and we got to relive Daniel and Johnny's relationship, and we got to meet incredible characters like Miguel, Robbie, Eli. It offered so much fantastic, and obviously the finale offering us Kreese was just brilliant. It brought us back to 1984 with Kreese, Johnny, and Daniel going head to head in season 2. it just built up so much excitement. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's why I said season two, you know, you had the reintroduction of Greece, but season one just trumps it because of everything it accomplished and to see the Old Valley and just to see these characters back in our screen after 30 odd years, you know, just pure brilliance. And this is where my argument comes in. Season three and four are both phenomenal, but I'm simply going to give the edge to season three. Season three is top tier season quality. It had, you know, everything. You had the build up with with the with the whole rivalry of Kreese and Johnny, the birth of Eagle Fang. You had the trip to Okinawa, the return of Chosen, learning that move that took out Kreese in the finale. You had Kumako, you had Ali for a few episodes. You had all the flashbacks and the new story you got from each of them, trying to learn about how they could better each other. Season three truly did a lot, and obviously you got the tease of Silver at the end. So you had initially four returning characters. I mean, Silver didn't return, but obviously you know who it was. You got all the flashbacks on Vietnam, which were fantastic. Season three was one of the most awesomest seasons ever. Hence why season four is in second place. Silver and Kreese relationship was fantastic, but it took about 3-4 episodes until Silver was actually in it. And then obviously back then you're like 4 episodes, and it was Your Valley, so there wasn't as well done as it was. Silver took the mick to get actually in the show. Granted, yes, you tried to deal with a bunch of stories: Robbie, Johnny, Kenny's story, Anthony's reintroduction, Sam and Tori. There was loads of characters to deal with in season four. Season three was a more well balanced because obviously Robbie was in prison, Miguel was doing his rehabilitation, Eli was going through the emotions, and obviously I loved the finale to season three in the house, the best fight scene in the whole series. But yeah, season three takes the trump. So season three, season four, season one, and season two. Let me know if you read down below. Season three and four, there is room for movement, but season three I just think is a more complete series. And I just loved the whole Okinawa and Ali return massively. And now I'm going to jump into who I think is the greatest Karate Kid villain. I'm going to take in Karate Kid. I'm going to take in Cobra Kai. I want to say the sensei from Karate Kid 2010 is not going to be on this list. Didn't do much per se. If he was in, you know, if it was a trilogy and he was in all three like Kreese, then it would have worked. But no, he's not. The young lad will be in this list, who obviously appeared and tormented Dre the whole film. Um, the commander from Next Karate Kid's not, but Ned will be on this list, and it's going to go simply like this. I think out of Silver, Kreese, Chosen, Johnny, Barnes, Che, and Ned, the worst villain is Che. Simply because he didn't get a lot of development and he was just a typical bully. A very good fighter, but there wasn't much development or character to him. He just kicked the crap out of Dre every time he saw him. As much as the film was, he was a very good, but he just, you know, he just didn't lack, and he just, you know, not many people talk about him to this day. You talk about your Bonds and Johnnies and Chosens, but you don't talk about Jay. I mean, because not many people talk about the next Karate Kid as much, which is a shame. And then you have to go Ned. You know, he had a poor motive. He was introduced immediately bullying Julie, targeting her, and then had a massive ego thing for against Eric. He just hated Eric for some reason. I know he was trained by the Colonel, but so was Eric. But Ned and his cronies chose to just choose violence and attack whoever they wanted. So there wasn't much again development on them or humanizing per se, but they were still very good to watch at times. And then you move up to, and this is where it's hard. Obviously, you have Barnes, Johnny, Chosen, Kreese, and Silver. Silver and Kreese have obviously all appeared in Cobra Kai. So is Chosen, but not as a villain, and Johnny's not a villain per se anymore. And Barnes, I'm gonna have to base on Karate Kid 3, and that's why he's fifth in this list. A very good character, but again, he just wanted a title, he wanted a payday. He wasn't villainous per se, he was just a very aggressive and psychotic person. Nothing against Daniel, but Daniel was the one who was in his way to becoming 50% ownership of Cobra Kai. So that's why he's fifth. He was a great villain, but not as good as the others. And then Johnny goes to four because, again, when I talk about villains, it's people who are psychos who just want to take out the competition without any remorse or regret. Johnny, yes, wanted to kick the crap out of Danny, but he never wanted to make him suffer or hurt or any permanent damage. He wanted him out the old valley for sure. He wanted him out the way of Ali for sure. But he wouldn't wanted anything bad to happen to Danny. Look at the relationship in Cobra Kai. They always talk the way out of things. They have had a few fights, but you can see the good in him. And that's why we go to third. This guy was one of the most deadliest people in Karate Kid history, but now he's coming to Cobra Kai. He's now third on this list simply because he sympathized with Daniel. He was exiled, took under the wing of his uncle again in Sato, and he's regained the world as his like oyster. You know, he's humanized himself. Chosen is third on this list. Loved his villainous side of season two, but again, bad teacher made him a villain. Sato learned from his ways. Chosen became a good person. He wanted to get his revenge on Daniel and Cobra Kai. It was all a joke, obviously. And then obviously he became a good guy, and now he's working with Daniel, with leading into season 5. Leading up to the final two villains, Silver and Kreese. People would say probably Kreese is more villainous. You'd be incorrect simply because they're humanizing Kreese. There is a lot of human elements to Kreese. He cares a lot for Johnny. People may think it's a facade. It's personally not. He wanted to work with Robbie and Johnny. He wanted to form a relationship. He wanted Cobra Kai to run through the three of them. He's always wanted the best for Johnny, but he went to Silver to take down Johnny's dojos, but more because he had hated what the Russo had put into Johnny's mind, turned him away from Cobra Kai. And that's why I can't wait to see the three of them team up in the next season, or season 6, because there's a lot of similarities in the three of them. And I can't wait for Kreese and Johnny to finally become friends, more than just allies, friends, understand everything they put each other through. You know, Johnny depended on an ally of Kreese when he was younger, when Sid was neglecting him. And it was just amazing to have someone like Kreese there in his life. And he would do everything and everything he wanted to do. Hence why he just, you know, when Kreese told him to do something dangerous in the Old Valley, he would do it. He wanted revenge in Karate Kid 3 because he was angry. Kreese has been humanized so much, and it's one of the greatest developments in our franchise. You know, you look at Vader, for example, they humanized him because he never was evil. He was just manipulated. Kreese has been manipulated behind the scenes by Silver all the time. Yes, he still is an evil person in some ways because he goes too far for sure. But there's a lot of good in him, and I can't wait to see that in the future. But this is why I'm ultimately saying Silver is the greatest villain in the Karate Kid franchise. He manipulated Daniel for an entire film in the third Karate Kid. He manipulated Mr. Miyagi. He drew the anger into Daniel, made him more furious and angry, drew him to Cobra Kai, and indirectly made him a better fighter. In obviously in Cobra Kai, he manipulated Kreese for the entire show, putting him behind bars. Silver is the ultimate villain, and again, I can't wait to see the likes of him take on Chosen, team up with Barnes. Will he fight Kreese? Will he fight Daniel? There's a lot to do. There's a lot of story he can cover the next few seasons, and that is why he's the ultimate villain, probably so ahead of Kreese, because Silver. I think Hurwitz and Schlossberg were asked this in an interview. Is Silver someone you can humanize? I believe you can humanize everyone. Look at Tori, the humanizer. Kyler's just a bully. You don't humanize him. Kreese, you can humanize. Barnes, you can humanize. Chosen's been humanized. Johnny, humanized. Everyone can be developed in a good way so they see the way of their faults. And I believe there is a way back for Silver. It's just going to take a lot longer. It's taken Kreese over 30 years. And if you think about it, Silver was, I keep saying humanized, but he was humanized at the start of the series. He was in a good place. He was with the posh people. He was enjoying life. He wasn't being disturbed. He had hobbies, goals, businesses. Kreese brought him back in the universe and brought the devil out. So, Kreese is as bad as Silver in many ways, but Silver ultimately almost killed Stingray and planted a massive seed, putting Kreese in prison. So it's a lot to, talk about, but I still think I stand by it. Say Silver is the greatest villain. Now I want to jump in to a couple of small things, then we'll jump into, a couple of bigger lists. Who is the greatest love interest? This is a simple list. Again, I think the top answer will be controversial per se, because, Elizabeth Shue is a very well-known actress, you know, for Back to the Future, eventually babysitted, all this. She's a brilliant actress. I respect everything she does for the role of Ali. I love the return of Cobra Kai, but she is going to be second on this list. There's only three women, four girls on this list per se. Mei Ying's 100% bottom. You know, she had one film. She had a few decent scenes with Dre. She was a good character, likable, but again, not enough development. Ali was in obviously. I know they're all in one film, so technically you can based on that. But you get so much more time with the characters. Jessica is third on this list. She was a great character, but she wasn't really a love interest. Uh, First time Daniel showed a bit of evil, she sort of turned an eye, but she was there for comfort. And I like how they kept in touch. And I hope we get to see her character appear in the future because she was a brilliant and nice person to Daniel. And she brought him back down to earth many times. Without her in the film, he would have been a full on hothead. Um, but yeah, ultimately the best love interest is Kumiko. Um, Her relationship with Daniel in Karate Kid 2 was fantastic. I loved every scene with them. They just had a good chemistry. And when Glory of Love was playing, when they were running down the canyon towards the castle, it was just brilliant. I just loved how well they connected and clicked. Every time they were on screen together, it was just good vibes. When they were dancing together, learning karate together, you know, planting food and everything. Just I loved them. Ali was a fantastic character, but she was very bitchy in the film. Kumiko was just a straight up nice girl who had a dream, loved being in Daniel's presence, and was always supportive. And Daniel ultimately saved her at the end. So you know you can't top that, you know, can you? Um, I talked about the main focuses. Dre is 100% bottom in this list. Daniel will always be the king of being the main characters. Julie is again, I think she's on par with Daniel. Even though Daniel's had three films and it's Cobra Kai, I think if Julie had maybe another film, she could have easily taken over the mantle of being the main best Karate Kid. But Daniel made the role. You know, he's well known from the '84 film. You know, and all the other films he's been in. He's a fantastic actor, Ralph Macchio, and you know, I just think he's just never going to be topped. He just Ralph's done a huge and one hell of a job in Cobra Kai. Returning to a show is never easy, but 4 seasons, he's held. Yes, Zapka, in my opinion, has done a better job because, you know, making a villain of a film and then making him the main character, training other people is absolutely so difficult. But Zabka and Ralph have done fantastic. And that's why Daniel is top of this list. Julie's second and Dre's third because it will always be like that. Julie's better than Dre because Jaden Smith annoyed me for half the film. Julie was just so like her from the get go. She just had a lot of anger in at the start, which developed into hunger for karate and having Miyagi in her life and wanting to let other people in her life, like Eric. So yeah, they've all got their pros, but Daniel takes the cake. And I want to talk on another tier list that's always going to be another tough one to decide. Who are the best kid characters in the show? You know, you've got Miguel, Hawk, Robbie, Dimitri, Sam, Tori, Kyle. I'm going for them seven. You know, there's Kenny, Anthony, Chris. I'm going to call him Ass Face. I know he's got a name. I saw his name the other day, but I can't remember. You got Nate, Bert, Moon. But I'm going off these seven because these are the main. These are the seven that have had a lot of focus, rivalry. There's only two girls on this list, and maybe we'll see more. Like I see, Devon doesn't make the list. Leah, you know, all these other side characters, but these are the seven. And bottom of the list simply is because it's Kyler. You know, all this development, all up season 4, he took on Eli and he got defeat in like 10 seconds. I got to admit, I know it's great for Eli's character, but it was atrocious to watch. Um, I don't think a kiss from Moon and gaining your confidence back is the way to just defeat Kyle. It should have been a bit more build up, but I think because they wanted to give the Robbie Eli fight a lot more depth to it, that's probably why. Kylo's just been a bully. There's not really any much to his character. Um, Robbie kicked the shit out of him. Eli's kicked the crap out of him. Miguel kicked the crap out of him. It's a common trend. He's not a good fighter. He's not that good of a character. The actor is a brilliant character. The guy who acts as him is very good at what he does, but the character is just so meh. Then above that, I would put Tori and Sam on bar. simply because they're both developing in a very good way, but in no way, shape, or form did they come close to the top four characters in the show. Um, Mary and Peyton have done such a fantastic job of this rivalry. Sam's won every fight they faced. Technically, Sam won the All Valley match, but obviously Tori officially won. You know, um, but it goes to show I loved how humanizing Tori with Amanda's relationship and Creasy's mentor. I love how Sam's taking advice from Johnny and Daniel. Obviously, brought them together in the finale. It just builds for some great character development, and I love where these two characters are going. I always said I think Tori needs guidance officially from Amanda and Kreese together, and I think she'll visit Kreese in prison. Amanda will take her under her wing. I think Sam will have the guidance of Julie and Chosen going forward, as obviously Daniel and Johnny hasn't fully worked. Chosen works in a very different way, and obviously Julie knows the monk's style of karate. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. And the top four for me was always difficult. Dimitri, Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk. They've all had amazing development in all different ways and over all four seasons as well. But fourth for me, and this is always going to be tough. This is a combination of best and favorite. Hawk is fourth for me. I think he's had a phenomenal 4 seasons from being the weird kid in the first season to have multiple different color hawks to be having it shaved off, to giving his confidence back to winning the All Valley after his mate won it the year before. I think it's truly incredible development from his character, and I love everything about what Jacob Bertrand has done for the character. I just think the other three characters have had to go through so much more. Like, yes, the lip was a big thing, but in reality, he hasn't had to go over as many hurdles. He didn't kill anyone. He didn't almost kill anyone. That's why Robbie's in third. Robbie's had to go through the whole homeless thing, his mum's neglect, Johnny not being there for 19, 16, 17 years, having to deal with the fact of his dojo opening, even working for the Russo and Johnny finding it bad, then going to Cobra Kai, his mum getting sober and kicking Miguel off a banister, his mum and Daniel coming together to bring him to prison, getting the shit kicked out of him by Shord, assisting Kenny becoming evil, and then losing the All Valley because he lost focus, and then breaking down on his dad at the end. He's been through so much, Robbie, and I think it's phenomenal writing. And for the fact I believe he's going to have a huge season 5 with Johnny going to Mexico to find Miguel and to hash things out with Miguel, I think it's going to be one of the highlights of Cobra Kai. To see those two, just like Johnny and Daniel, become close and become almost like brothers, because obviously I believe they'll become a full family by season 6. Carmen, Johnny, Robbie, Miguel, and obviously Robbie's mum will become a massive involvement in that as well. Being able to see her on a regular basis. I mean, her development's been fantastic as well. I want to throw that out there. Her rehabilitation from season 3 and 4 has been fantastic, and how she immediately rejected Silver's request. Then we go into number 2 and 1. It's always going to be tough, this, because Miguel is the main character of Cobra Kai, but there's multiple main characters. Dimitri, for me, is number 1. And people may be questioning this, but I'm just going to touch on Miguel for a sec. Miguel, obviously, the king of season 1. Season 2, he had ultimate battles with Tori and Sam's relationship, getting kicked off the banister and the rehabilitation in season 3. Season 4 was his goal of winning the All Valley, but also tackling his friend's relationship, Sam's neglectfulness, Tori's hatred, dealing with Robbie again, trying to live a normal life. The whole relationship with Daniel and Johnny, the dojo war, also dealing with the fact they have to beat Cobra Kai. They all blew up in their minds, when his back went, and he just felt that everything that was important was nothing to do with karate, and obviously wanting to find his dad. And I think Miguel's arc has been fantastic, and the fact that we're no closer to him, his arc finishing, is absolutely brilliant. Again, just like I said to Robbie, he's going to have a fantastic season 5, and I honestly can't wait to see it. Now I'm just going to jump straight into Dimitri and say he is the highlight of Cobra Kai. You know, you always have those characters who come out of nowhere and you think, wow, they could actually be something. He truly became a fantastic fan favorite. For someone who'd never wanted to fight, to someone who had to go to war against his best mate. This is a guy who's fought him in the comic book store, in the mall. Um, he tried to become friends with him at the party, talking about Doctor Who. He put him in the trophy cabinet at the end of season 2. He had his arm broken in season 3. He teamed up with the guy he's been going to war with for 3 seasons. And then season 4, you saw him get to the semi-finals of the All Valley. I just think it's absolutely incredible. I don't think people give Gianni enough credit. Everything he's done, his nerves of steel, his courageousness, his willing to be the star, and he always references from Game of Thrones and every other show they make. He's how much he's there for Eli in season 4. I love how he took on Robbie in season 4 as well, and how much respect they you sort of could tell how much respect they still have for each other. It shows a development. He talked about not being able to even kick the crap out of him in season 1 when they were on the same side. Another on this different side, he put up a huge fight. All the blocks and stuff. He never got a point off him, obviously, but it was still incredible to see how far he came. Semi-finals. He never would have made that 1 season ago or 2 seasons ago. Gianni did a phenomenal job in Dimitri, and that's why he's the best developed, one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise. And that leads me on to my final category of today's tier list, and that is who are the best characters in the adults throughout Cobra Kai. And it's simply this: Johnny is the best main character. Johnny's the best character in Cobra Kai. His development from an absolute arsehole in the 80s to developing people like Miguel and Eli and Assface and Chris and all these other characters, the teaching Sam in the latter seasons, his development with Daniel growing, his constant wanting will to make Miguel walk, uh, his relationship grew with Carmen. He's determined to go to Mexico to find him. His relationship with Kreese, his fight with Silver. He's determined to do everything and what he can to help these kids out in every way. It's a shame Daniel never saw that, but Johnny stood out in every season. Yes, the alcoholic scenes did annoy the hell out of me, still going back and forth with this, but he constantly fought back and bit the bullet and was always willing to take on the next challenge. And it was just brilliant to see from season 1 through 4 how much he's developed from Karate Kid 1. It was absolutely brilliant writing. I want to put Kreese second for his development from the end of season 1, saying he wants to take over the valley, to season 4, where he has so much remorse, and how he's willing to change when he told Tori to just fight how she wanted to, overruling Silver, which ultimately led to putting him in prison. With Daniel's character being in third, I love his development and how much he's grown since the Karate Kid franchise. Knowing what his inner soul not wants, but learning offense and gaining trust of his villainous friends of Chosen and Johnny. And I hope he gains the trust of a third villain, Mike Barnes and Kreese in season 5. And I can't wait for him to face off with Silver in the future. So much has come from these characters, and that leads to Silver being fourth. Purely because he's only been in 1 season, but I love Silver's development in every single way. His manipulation skills have got even better since the 80s, and truly can't wait to see what he's got in store for Cobra Kai. So let me know what you think down below of all these tier lists. I've covered the films, TV, adult characters, antagonist, protagonist, love interest, and the kid characters. Let me know down below what you think. Let me know if you agree with anything. Obviously, I know it was a very long video, but a lot of the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid videos coming your way. I have character profiles for everyone involved who I believe will be in season 5. My predictions, some more interviews to look forward to for sure, coming very soon in February. Stay tuned for them. Subscribe and like to miss a video. Comment anything else you want to see from the channel that's external from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. And thanks for watching the Karate Kid franchise tier list video. Take care and see you in the next one.